Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Happy Strong Family podcast, the live stream that we do every Sunday, coming at you 11 a.m. Eastern here within Masjid Dar al-Iman. The second floor, that is where you'll find the Happy Strong Family studios. So we're producing live. We have producer Kashif, the voice of the show behind the monitors. Hopefully one day we'll get him in front of the camera. That's a promise to the audience. With me now, across from me, I have brother Haider. How are you, man?
Assalamu alaikum. I'm doing very great. How are you?
Alaikum salam, rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I love that beautiful smile.
Thank you. I can say the same about you.
Jazakallah. So today we're going to talk about entrepreneurship and the youth.
Of course.
It's a big topic. Okay. I'm not going to guess your age. Nor are you any under obligation to tell me your age.
I want you to guess. I genuinely want you to guess.
You do?
Yes.
Putting me on the spot here, bro. This is not how I imagined the show would go. But all right, let's do it. 32.
Close. I'm actually 27 years old.
27. All right. Like I'm not good at this, but all right. I'll take that for what it's worth. So being 27, you want to focus on how can we empower our youth, make them mission focused, give them an objective. Tell us more about that. What exactly do you mean? And feel free. Again, this is unscripted. We want to keep this conversational, funny, sad, the whole gambit, man, the whole 9 yards. Just
we'll go on a roller coaster.
Tell us your personal story and
course.
why this is so important to you as a Muslim.
Of course. I kind of realized that as Muslims as a whole, we haven't really been working together. It's almost like we are competing with each other. It's like families or cultures. And I feel like we haven't really gone together as an ummah. And if somebody's successful, he kind of keeps the success to himself. I realized this at a very young age. And now my objective is to teach everybody that I know. If I reach a milestone, I want the entire ummah to reach a milestone with me. Kind of like going into it together. It doesn't feel good when it's just by myself, right? So I do want to kind of say things from my experience of what made me successful. Alhamdulillah. It's obviously all from God. First thing,
100%.
It's all from Allah.
100%.
When I was first getting into this, I kind of felt just like a little bit of an ego coming in. And when the ego came in, I didn't enjoy the things that were happening to me until my father had a conversation with me and he goes, listen, like you're on the next stage now, the next chapter, the next leap. Just make sure to say Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah for the good, Alhamdulillah for the bad. So this year I've been a lot more focused on understanding that everything, every single thing, every thought, every word that comes out of my mind is all from Allah, right?
Subhanallah.
Subhanallah. Alhamdulillah. So that's the first thing. My story originated from Iraq. So I actually migrated here in around 2004. We were obviously, as every immigrant in the beginning, you struggle and you see that struggle with your family. And I didn't really want to see my mother struggle or my father struggle. And I asked them when I was very young, I was like, hey, like, how do I change our lives? They said in the form of education. In the beginning, when you're a child, you think you could do this without education. You think you could do this without school. And I was one of those kids where I just thought I could take life over without understanding anything.
Right.
I feel like I can move mountains. Especially when I was younger, I felt like I could do anything. But then my father was like, what are you going to sell? Like, what are you going to do if you don't have the knowledge to do it? How are people going to be convinced knowledge is power? And one of the very first things we got taught in Islam was Iqra. Read, and how knowledge is power. And the Quran specifically talked about the pen, al-qalam, right? So when he guided me through knowledge, I realized is when my life started changing a little bit.
All right.
I started, in the beginning, I wasn't really like the best in school, in high school. But I really had the power, I had the mindset to want to achieve great things. And I realized that there was a very parallel objective that's going on with, if you want to be successful, you have to have knowledge, you have to read, you have to understand, you have to be able to convince people, and people across from you, they feel that when you're well read and when you're well spoken and when you're behaved, a lot more people gravitate to that type of energy, right? So I decided to like dive deep into books. That's when like kind of everything changed. I went to university for engineering, alhamdulillah. We like I said, I was invested in high school, and in the lunch times, what I used to do was instead of go for lunch, I used to give my tutor $20, my lunch money. If my mom is watching this, I am sorry, but
Sorry, mom.
sorry. I used to just like instead of getting lunch, I would just get tutored. And I would just go every lunch and get tutored, and I just really wanted to become something great.
Wait, why are you apologizing for this? Why are you apologizing for this?
Because-
Mom, he takes it back. Like, look,
Yeah.
you know, at the end of the day, he was using his lunch money. Okay, a little bit of discomfort. Wouldn't recommend this for a lot of people, but he's educating himself. He's learning. He's pushing himself to get that education, man. Okay,
Yeah.
so tell us, you took it upon yourself to learn.
Yes.
Right, to learn. That journey, then, that self-determination, that dedication, that drive, where did it lead to you? What path did it lead you on, man?
Yeah. So when I was in that path, I actually met a lot of good people around me.
Alhamdulillah.
So the Sahaba, alhamdulillah. I realized when the people around me changed is when my life also started changing. So a lot of my friends were before living in Canada, it was difficult to find Muslim brothers to be around, right? I'm sure everybody could attest in the beginning, there was not a lot of Muslimin. And when I met my friends, it's kind of like through the path of education and learning is when things changed. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I want the youth to understand that knowledge is power. Right. Especially in my line of work, if you don't know what you're talking about in front of the bigger clients. So a lot in my company, we work with YMCA and Loblaws and Gillette, Motorola, GM. So when you're in front of them, you have to know what you're speaking about. And as a Muslim man, it is your obligation to make sure that you're representing your own religion and your culture, and to understand that like you are the voice of a lot of people, 2 billion people, right? So yeah,
you got to represent.
You have to represent.
All right. So tell us a little bit about your work then.
Yes.
Okay. You've gone down this journey of getting educated. You have an engineering degree. Where did that lead you? What are you currently doing? And then how can this be a hook? Let's bridge the topic now. How can this be a hook for other youth, for Muslim youth to say, man, I watched that episode with that brother. He went on that journey of discovery, got educated. Now he's doing XYZ.
Yep.
I want to be an entrepreneur like him.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about that now.
So we have to like go back a few steps for that. I had a love for business. Like I was super in love with business, but my dad would always be like, what would you sell? Like, what are you going to sell? Business is beautiful, but when there's business, you're selling something.
Yeah.
And I didn't know the answer. And then he came in and said, you should sell software, right? And you should be educated in software.
Okay.
And to bridge that business and software, you have to be very educated in software. So that's why I got the degree. I started off as a developer in my company.
All right.
So I was developing for one of the largest, alhamdulillah, insurances in the UK. The client's name is I'm under NDA. But after I was developing, I realized that I didn't really like it. There was something like I just felt like I needed more. So I transitioned into sales, where my heart lied, and it was all guidance from Allah. It all happened overnight. I felt this motivation at night. I woke up, prayed Fajr. Next thing you know, I see a notification like, "Hey, who could help us in sales?" I decided to take it on. The client was very happy, and then it kind of like snowballed from there. Currently, I am the executive director of one of the world's leading software engineering firms called 247 Labs. I am very client facing, so any of the bigger names that you see on the website, I'm probably the one that's bringing them in, closing the deals, making sure that the revenue is there. I give it up to my founder a lot as well. He's Muslim. He makes sure that we only do things that align with our vision and our ethics. And to bridge it at the age of 27, when I'm in these events, alhamdulillah, there's not a lot of people my age. So it's very difficult to almost prove yourself without this knowledge from the beginning. When you're in that room and people start undermining you because of your age, the only thing that's left is the knowledge. It's not about the looks. It's not about the age. It's
Right.
just about what comes out of my mouth.
Right.
Right. So, for me, that's the whole thing. Is I really want the youth to get educated. I really want them to like dive deep in books, and that eventually it feels really long, and it feels like you're working towards something that is not there in the beginning. When I was reading and studying, I didn't think I was going to be the chief executive at 27. I thought I was just on the right path, but it does lead somewhere. And that journey is very long. We're not going to be like, hey, it's short and simple and sweet. It's rainbows and sunshine. That journey is very, very long.
There are no shortcuts, man.
No
shortcuts.
No
All right.
shortcuts.
So tell us a little bit more about, how Muslim youth can, what types of entrepreneurship are there, right? You've probably had your fair share. You start off in sales. Now you're a CEO for, 247 Labs, or is it 24/7? How?
247.
247.
Yes.
247 Labs.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, look, you've worn many hats.
Yes, sir.
Right. So tell us a little bit about that, because again, that too is a journey.
Yes.
Right. Like we said, there's no shortcuts. It's not all, rainbows and sunshine and unicorns. There's got to be some struggle.
Yes.
You got to put in the hard time. You got to put in the effort.
Of course.
As our deen requires,
Of course.
our deen clearly says, put in the effort, leave the rest to Allah.
Yes.
It's not you can sit on your hands and just be like, oh, astaghfirullah, Allah will provide. No,
You have to work.
You have to work. You have to work hard. You have to put in the effort. And yes, then Allah will provide. Allah will then open doors. Or if not, if the doors are not opening, it's a matter of time. It's a matter of having patience, sabr, and so on and so forth. But tell us about your experiences. Look, like I said, I will literally turn this microphone around and put both microphones towards you. This is your time to tell us your story, because I really want the youth to be inspired, man. Look, you're 27 years old. Okay. A CEO at 27.
Yes.
I do this thing where I look into the camera. Okay. Yeah. This man is going to be the next Sam Altman. He's going to also bridge the topic of AI, inshallah. So why not have a Muslim who is an AI leader, globally known, as young as this man? Watch out, everybody.
Let's go.
Brother Haider here is going to be the next Sam Altman. He is going to be leading the charge, inshallah. Mark my words. Watch this podcast again and again. And when you look back, you'll be like, yeah, that brother Mushtaq was onto something. So tell us your story, man.
Yes, sir.
If you want to now use this time to bridge AI, if you want to keep talking about entrepreneurship, like I said, don't make me turn this microphone around, man. Don't make me do it. All right? You take over.
I'll take over.
All right.
I'll take over.
I'm just the host here, so it's my job just to ask the questions.
I
can't get that story out of you.
Let me give you the secret.
All right.
In my life, it's all from a few methods and all from a few quotes. Right. One of my favorite quotes is, "So verily with the hardship there is relief," and that's from the ayah, right? And another one is, for example, "Bil aql salim is the jism salim." So with the right mind is the right body. I believe that what the Quran does is it gives you kind of like the manual of life. Yeah. So I really, what I do is I really take this and I put it in consideration, right? So the days that it gets difficult, the days that get it really hard is the days that honestly the youth should be working. I always ask my friends and the people around me, I'm like, do you guys want to be great or do you want to be average? And it's totally okay to be average. I grew up my whole life being average, right? It's okay. We were happy. We felt rich. We got everything that we wanted, but I wanted to be great. And to be great, you have to do things that are hard. You got to do things that are not on the days that you want to work. When you have a headache and all your friends are out on the weekend and it's sunny outside. If you work those days, those are the days that gets you to the next level. I'll never forget, like one of my biggest clients had worked like 12 hours from like 9 a.m. to like 9 p.m. And at like 10 p.m. they wanted to meet. They were in like Korea or something. And I was already dead. And my dad keeps popping up in my mind. He goes like, keep working, right? And I'll go in and I'll do the meeting at night and it'll turn into a client. And that will take a step forward to my life. So I would say there's like a few things. One, to work on the days that you don't want to work. Two is to have knowledge. In the beginning, when I was in sales or I transitioned into sales, I had no idea about sales. I was in front of clients. It was enterprise level. They were saying words that I had no idea about. I was like ChatGPTing every word that they were saying, they would be speaking, they'd be like Azure data lakes and data factory, and I'd just be there like, what is a data lake? What is a data factory, right? But you can figure it out, and along the way you learn. I feel like a lot of the people that I met, they spend a lot of time in fear or planning. My dad always says, he's like, don't just fly the plane, and like, don't fix the plane before it flies. Fly the plane and fix it while it's in the air. And metaphor is not really like on par with the realistic expectations, but it kind of like, there's a lot of sayings that are like that. For example, like, shoot for the moon. If you aim for the stars, you land on the moon. He'll say, I won't be mad, right? So just kind of giving it your all, like making. He always says, like, let's say it's the last day on earth for you, right? And it's like judgment day. Won't you look back and be upset if you didn't reach your full potential,
right?
If you didn't reach the job you're supposed to reach, or if you didn't have the body you wanted to have, or if you didn't have the friendships you wanted to have and create. So that always kind of drives me. It kind of like plays in my mind. It's like, how can I not reach my full potential? It's like, I always like to tell my brother, he plays a lot of video games, right? I'm like, you spend a
younger brother or older brother?
Younger brother.
Okay.
His name is Yusuf.
All right.
He spends a lot of time playing video games, right? And I once went up to him and I was like, isn't it crazy how you spend so much time like upgrading the player on your game, but you don't spend time like upgrading your life? Like,
whoa,
and
that's
even
deep.
It's a little cringy in the beginning when you think about it, but then it really hit home to him. He was like, yeah, he's like, what am I doing? Why am I upgrading this like graphic computer and not my life? So he shut it down and he's like learning something else. There's a lot of like,
you really reached him.
Yeah,
you really got to him.
Yeah, if I was right now, if I didn't have anything and I had to start from zero, what I would do is I would immerse myself into AI. I would say a day in AI or a week in AI is almost like a year now in human life.
Oh, 100%. The pace of change, it's lightning fast. It's trying to capture lightning in a bottle. So what could youth do about AI then? I mean, look, on previous episodes, I've gone at length explaining to parents and students alike. I told my daughter at one point, she's now going to second year uni, and I said, look, daughter, how much of your homework assignment, how much of you is going to be the AI model, let's just say ChatGPT, and how much of it is going to be the real you? So even with the whole make it till you fake it paradigm saying, somewhere there's a big disconnect. So what can students do from your lens, from your perspective, and how to properly utilize these AI tools?
So I would say is to reverse engineer, right? So any of these companies, in world, there's always problems, there's pain points. People pay real life money to take away problems and pain, right? And the pain doesn't have to be physical pain. It could be just a burden that's happening at work, or something that is losing somebody revenue. You identify that pain and you reverse engineer it. So it's like, okay, this pain is causing somebody $2 million a year. What happens? Why are they losing that money? For example, I'll give you a real life example from enterprise, an enterprise client of mine.
Sure.
They were a $20 billion security company. They do around 18,000 quotations a year. I would say 3,000 of them come back as errors. And what happens is they lose around 1.8 to like $3 million a year just on these like quotational errors. We reverse engineer. So we're like, okay, this happens because of the errors. What could we do for the errors to be minimized? So what we did was we created something called an AI validation form that validates the quotation based on historical data, and be like, hey, this one that was submitted that looked exactly like this came back as an error. Can we redefine it quickly, like re-quote it quickly? And we actually were able to reduce the errors from like 1,300 to like 20 or 30, saving the company like $1.8 million. So for the youth, what they could do is use ChatGPT to kind of research this, right? I would have a blueprint, like this is the company, this is their pain. From this pain, I would just use ChatGPT. I'd be like, how many quotes are there? This. What are some ways I could validate errors? And there's really great tools out there. So there's like Lovable, for example. Now, Lovable.com is able to create full websites for you in AI, like just by prompting.
Yeah.
So no more development, nothing needed. It's just a little bit of work. You go through it. Lovable is great. And there's something called like N8N, which is like, I believe is like the future as well. It's AI agents that is like in a sandbox that you could drag and drop. So I would say if they focused on N8N and Lovable, I had met a Muslim brother as well at an event, at a healthcare event. I was like, what brings you in here? And he says, I work with pharmacies and to digitalize documentations. And I'm like, how did you build it? He goes, I actually have no development experience. I went on Lovable and I did it. And now we're selling like 40K a month.
Wow.
And
Impressive.
I was like, subhanallah, like, and I was like, hey, here's my number. If you need anything, just give me a call. Like, I'm part of a development team. If there's any like errors that you need, any polishing finishes, let me know. It's actually on me. Like, I would love to like help others out, right? So I would tell like the youth, just focus on this technology, focus on people's wants and needs. Editing is huge, media is huge. So having a way to like always have content out, maybe an AI agent that'll scrape data from the web and create content from it based on trending keyword topics. And then getting the AI agent just to post on Instagram, for example, right?
Right.
Identifying the need using ChatGPT, it's never been easier. Before, you would need to come up with the questions and go ask Google, right? And now you have an entire AI agent guide that could guide you through these things. So for the youth, I would really say empower yourself on AI. And I really think, for example, anything with data is going to be like top in the world. I think it would replace like medicine and like lawyers in the long run. Anything dealing with data, because that could also be incorporated into medicine. Like data could be incorporated into medicine. Data
Awesome.
could be incorporated into things. So
awesome.
things
Great.
like data science, data engineering.
Great insight.
Yeah.
Great insight. So says the next Muslim Samuel. And so now this would be a good segue, because we're already reaching the halfway mark,
Beautiful.
for questions. Producer Kashif, please.
Yes, Jazakallah khair. So before we get to the questions, I just want to bring this up here. So this will tell us a little bit more about this. So I have your website on the screen. So 247. Sorry, did you say 24/7 Labs or
Yeah,
247labs.com is the website. So tell us a little bit more about what your company does. And
yeah,
I know you brought some folks here. Are they from the company also?
Yes.
Or are they? Yeah.
yes. So that's my
maybe a
marketing.
shout out to them.
Yeah, so we have Wes, Tufil, and Laith Hassan in the studio. I attribute a lot of my successes to these guys.
Mr. Tufail, come on, man, get up. Yeah, come on. Like you could make
just
your
in the
way. You
background.
could
He's
stand in
just-
the background. Like, come on, man. This is as live as and interactive as it gets. So producer, no, not yet.
in,
He
come
didn't
in.
switch the camera, bro.
Come
He
in,
didn't.
come
He
in.
give you got to give the guy time to switch the cameras.
Come
Okay,
sit
we
here,
got
come sit
3
here.
here. You can like share a chair
Yeah.
if you want.
Yeah.
Or just there you go. See,
Yes.
we got the whole crew
Alhamdulillah.
here. This is awesome, guys. So okay, so what do you guys do?
I'm still a junior software engineer at 247 Labs, so
Mhm.
still making my way through the company, and hopefully, like soon, we'll get in a higher position.
Inshallah, man. So any advice for the youth?
I would say they should not spend a lot of time with the friends and like wasting time here and there.
Mhm.
They should focus. Once they graduate, they should focus and really work on themselves and
Their future.
and their future, and to get there, inshallah.
Awesome, man. Inshallah.
So,
I've put you on the spot. I know.
yeah,
But
it's
you-
kinda
No, man, you're doing really well.
Inshallah.
I thank you, man. I thank you
you.
for this. All right. So now I'm going to take the pressure off you. We're going to give
Yeah.
the chair to the marketing guy.
Thank you.
Hopefully he won't feel as much pressure. All right. So we've gone from developer to marketing guy. So marketing guy.
Mhm.
All right. What advice would you give to the youth now, man?
Do what you love. Find something that you love. Find something that is your passion, and follow it all the way through. And the earlier, the better. To be honest.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. See, I'm glad you brought your crew.
Sahaba.
This hasn't been done before, man. You
No.
brought the Sahaba. This is
Yes.
so awesome. This
Yeah.
is so good.
Actually, Laith was one of the people that really helped me out in the beginning of my life as well. We were best friends before we even hired him. And he really kind of helped me stay locked in and focused, especially when you have a brother that studies in the same field as you. It's really easy to enjoy yourself and do the things that you're supposed to be doing. I kind of always encourage them. Like, I always think having too much fun or having too much anything is kind of like wrong, and it's easy to do here. You don't really have the amount of like pressure by like the government, for example. Everything's pretty open here, but that doesn't mean that we can still take advantage of that, right? You gotta step back and realize like this is reality that we're in, and to always be hardworking, head down. And they really help me get back on track. Anytime that I'm like, hey, like I have something important, but I want to go out, they're like, no, man, like you need to be doing what you're supposed to be doing, like greatness. Like they're always like, do you want to be average or do you want to be great? I'm like, greatness, inshallah, greatness. So,
awesome, man.
yeah.
See how the CEO kind of bridges it all together.
Yeah.
You know, he brings in the point of being locked in. He brings in the part about, you know, focusing, doing what you love, brings it all together seamlessly, man. Awesome. This is really good. Awesome. This is so good.
I gotta get out of here and make my content right now.
All right, man. You
Gorgeous.
do and make your content.
Yeah.
All right. So then, producer Kasha, if you were showing the 247 labs
Yeah.
software side. All right. The website. Okay. So walk us through this now.
Yeah, beautiful. So what we do is we do custom software development, including AI, websites, applications, mobile applications. So if you see there, the companies that we've worked with is like Yukon, YMCA. We work with the Canadian government, Rogers, Lablos. A lot of these people had different things developed for them. For example, I'll just give you the range of examples. You know, OnStar, the button you click, the roadside
GM,
assistance.
yeah.
We've developed that. That was our system that we've developed. For example, all the training modules that you see from Motorola to train staff, from University of Toronto and Sick Kids Hospital. These are the training platforms that we've created. So we do a range of things. For enterprise level companies, what we do is we transfer businesses with artificial intelligence. So we identify gaps that are kind of tedious, that you want to do, that kind of doesn't need like humans as much to spend or waste their time in. The AI will kind of do the tedious work. It still needs to be supervised. Our goal is never ever to replace any humans.
I'm glad you said that.
Ever.
Glad you said that.
It's more like to open them and free them to be more creative and do things that are more important. I'm sure like the person in front of me's purpose wasn't to add data on an Excel sheet. I'm sure that's not something they want to do. I'm sure that they have to because of the position that they're in. So what I'm trying to do is free the people from doing tedious works, people that are more creative, that have more thoughts and juice in them to pursue something that they would love, right? And put time into that. So all of our AI needs to be validated by human. It always needs to be supervised by a human. In business and in software and in entrepreneurship in general, conversion rates are very important. A 2% conversion rate, 3% conversion rate is very high. So if you flip that in accuracy, being 95% accurate isn't enough. That 5% is what the human is capable of doing, right? So to be at the 100%, you need humans beside the AI. And I don't think ever there will be like 100% AI accurate thing. It's always going to be like 99%, 99.9, but it's always going to need a human for it to be perfect. So what we do is we transform businesses with artificial intelligence. We do custom software development, anything with development we do. And yeah, it's kind of just been popping off this year, especially with the entire artificial intelligence boom.
Yeah.
Everybody needs AI. Everybody wants machine learning. It was just, alhamdulillah, it was God's will to position us before the wave came.
Subhanallah. Well said. Producer Kasha, let's get to some questions now, please.
Yeah. So maybe a question for both of you being involved in the AI field. So for people that don't have technical backgrounds, they're not involved in the technology, you get into a lot of conversations now, and a lot of people are scared of it. You have a lot of Muslims saying this is signaling like the end of the times now, right? All this that's happening. A lot of people saying is the world's going to come crashing now. Humanity is going to change as we know it, right? And it's just over. It's going downhill now. So how do you like calm people's minds and hearts when you, I'm sure you've heard that sentiment, right? So
love it. The hearts and minds question, man.
I'll let you go first.
No,
You
no,
have an
mi-
AI
no,
company,
no,
right?
no, no,
What do
no,
you-
Mr. Sarmad, you go for
okay.
it first, bro.
I
Come on.
I would say that if you look at history and Allahu Alam, like it's all in God's hands. Who am I to say? But if I were to look at history, there's always been times of revolution. So the industrial revolution,
Yeah.
and the Wi-Fi boom. Life. There's been multiple occasions where life has transformed, and I just think that this is one of those times where life gets easier for us, right? You always in psychology, you always fear what is unknown. It's even like science came from Allah. That's just the way to understand kind of how life works a little bit. Everything came from Allah, but once you realize that kind of people have the same patterns, you're able to make like more clear decisions. And for me, when I took a step back and I kind of realized the patterns were kind of telling me like this is just one of those revolutions that kind of could change people's lives for the good or the better. There's always going to be people that like are going to take advantage of the situation. There's always people that are going to ignore the situation, right? And I just wanted to be one of those people that instead of turning a blind eye on it, is just to take it like head on. So I don't think that AI is necessarily like an evil. I do think that they took a little bit of time to include governance with the artificial intelligence. I believe that it should have been side by side, where security governance was being built as the software and tech was being built. I feel like AI got to a place where right now we're thinking of the governance, and I think that it might be too powerful. But definitely, I think that it's just a revolution, and that you should like, especially as Muslims, since it's been pretty new, I think that they should take advantage of the situation.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Oh, and timing wise, we have the actual host who
Yes.
scheduled this. I'm sometimes a backup. So I always give credit where credit is due. Brother Hamza, hey man, you were held up. Timing is
Assalamu
awesome. Look at that.
Always
So
fashionably late.
I'm just gonna yes, fashionably late. I'll just say that for the record. All right. But now you're the hot seat. We've done this format where it's the three of us now.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm literally kind of setting you up. But
Perfect.
so the question was,
I was listening in live
you
the
were
whole way, brother.
awesome.
I think this mic's not me. Because when was
You're on,
That's
man.
good
You're
now.
live.
Okay,
Oh yeah.
perfect.
So okay. So we're
I know
going
Wes was talking.
going around the table now. So now it's your turn. Go.
Okay, guys. Haider, this little. I don't think I give you the content. It's a little cheat code. Me and Haider went to university together.
Oh, there
Me
you
and
go.
him, 2 for 7
Okay.
Let me tell you this. Haider is one of the most genuine guy. Last year, around this time last year, I met him in Collision Conference. Met after a couple months. Like we were like going back and forth. He's like, yo, I love your energy. Come meet my CEO. So he's the chief director, not the CEO of 2 for 7 Labs. And then he's like, you really like him. At that time, I came out of consulting firm, software engineering. Same thing, same university, we graduated together, software engineering 2022. I was doing consulting for a year at Infosys, and I got laid off at 2023 October. And at that time, I was trying a bunch of little things. I was helping Brother Kessler with the My Property portal. You know about that.
Yeah.
That's around that time you started an AI company too. So we can bring that up too. It's perfect. And not to the spotlight, Heather's like, you know what? I really love your energy. I really love what you do. You have to join. No matter what, you have to join soon. He said he's promised me that in June 2024, and I'm not trying to hype him or anything, but Heather, literally October 2024, I got that interview. He liked my team so much. Another part, I kept sticking up to him. I bothered him so much every year from June, July, August, September, October. We met him again in Elevate. You remember it's clear, Elevate conference. We met again. He's like, man, we just met out. We were just I was trying to get the connections going. So initially, I was also doing software engineering. He's like, hey, like I really like what you do. I really like how you talk. Let's see how you can fit into the team. Let's do a bit of both. How you're the technical engineer as well as bringing clients, doing their leads there. Heather came in. He's like, hey, so we were talking there. He got me in the team, and then I guess there's a history from there. Man, he great mentor. Just literally telling me exactly what to do. He had brought up so many different solutions, so many different ways. The hardest part about AI, you literally have 10 different industries and it's such niche problems that they're having. How do you fit into healthcare? How do you fit into automotive industry? How do you fit into the education industry? How do you fit into blue collar labor industry,
Mhm.
and how software taking over that, all that. So I don't want to go back from those questions. There's a lot of them there, and I don't want to extend it to make it a 2-hour podcast. But this is the guy who knows every industry. What's the play? How are you gonna switch every industry to work with AI?
So Hamza, give us your hot take though.
Yeah.
Give us your hot take, and I'm literally paraphrasing, and yeah, I'm gonna exaggerate the shit out of this. Oh, sorry, profanity. Is AI the coming of the jaw? Is AI the sign of times, the end of times? Like, are we nearing the day of judgment? Is this some are we decoding a hadith here that, oh my God, time's up for us as humanity? Like, what is your hot take?
I need to really get on my Islamic studies on that point. Inshallah, and I want on the side, and I feel like I don't have that knowledge to break down those hadiths and see
give
where
us
it
your
all
opinion,
relates.
bro. Just give us
But
your
in my
opinion.
opinion,
Yeah.
I think this is a great tool. And right now, if you guys don't know the data, like he mentioned earlier in the podcast, data and AI work hand in hand. Alexander Wang, who made Scale AI, who just partnered with Meta, the back end of all AI infrastructure. OpenAI buys the data from Scale AI, Meta, Amazon, any big company who's building on their own infrastructure, Claude. It's just a crazy system. I don't want to be pessimistic, like, hey, that's the job, but maybe that's a tool that the job could maybe use, because pros and cons to everything. Who thought when the dot-com bubble happened in 99 that so many great companies like Stripe that just process payments online is $1 billion IPO. Shopify, who just makes website and makes it e-com, will be billions of dollars from Ottawa. Who would have thought? People thought we were crazy. He's Haider tells this to me all the time. Whenever he meets clients, he's like, hey, they think, as he was speaking earlier, he was earlier, like the young people, no one takes it seriously when it's young, early on. Yeah, had that history of 30 years of just building, and now we're attracting all that. So maybe that could be infrastructure.
Oh yeah. So basically what he's
So
saying is
use
10
it.
years ago, we created this thing called the Alex Web. So around 12 years ago, I think it was, the Alex Web was created at, I believe it was either Harvard or Stanford University. It was the very first evidence of artificial intelligence, where you're able to take a picture and the computer is able to recognize if it was a bird or a fruit, and tell you what type of bird and fruit it was.
Right.
Then 12 years passed and we got ChatGPT. ChatGPT is now considered the holding truth. Before we were in a phase of theoretical science, and then we reached holding truths. Holding truths is having real life data that's around the world that is the truth. The sky is blue, the grass is green, and all into one place. After that is now something called the applied science. So we're entering the age, and applied science has only been around since 2020, right? So it's been 4 or 5 years ish, which is very, very new in a revolution. So I think what he was trying to say was it's just we're entering into a new phase. I don't think it's as extensive as people should be. And even if it was, Allahu Alam, we leave that to Allah, right?
Yeah.
Just go and capture the moment and the opportunity that we have. If it's the end of the world, say Alhamdulillah, and inshallah we'll see you guys in Jannah. So you could be afraid of it, but it's why don't we just capture the moment? There's nothing haram about AI.
Yeah.
So
look, again, I tell people, I was at a park the other day, and I was wearing a thobe, and it was a family, a cute little girl. She's like, "Daddy, is he a priest?" I just heard that comment.
Yes.
I was kind of passing by. So I tell everybody on camera and off camera, I'm not an imam, I'm not a priest, but my hot take on this topic, and yeah, I'm biased, and when I explain my thoughts, you'll clearly say I'm leaning one way. But to me, AI is that moment, that flashpoint, where you want as many Muslims involved in this field as possible. Right now, and I'm going to be very critical and very harsh and very blunt. So be prepared. Right now, when you look at tech bro culture, there is a culture of toxic masculinity. At one point, Mark Zuckerberg, CEO of Facebook, now Meta, went on record and said, we need more men. Now, I take objection to that when we as a society, for all the right reasons, and it's about time. it's a hell of about time that we get to this point of encouraging our girls, our young women, and women in general to get into the field of STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, for them to be equals within the engineering field. And yeah, when you look at this room, and if we could pan the cameras, right now, every person in this room is a male. And apologies for that. Do we have a developer here who's a female on this podcast right now? No, we don't. Do we have a chief director who's a female right now? No, we don't. Do we have a marketing gal? No, we don't. So my point is this. If you are a Muslim, if you are a Muslim female, a Muslimah, a Muslim sister, get into AI.
And it's difficult as well because not a lot of them are applying themselves.
Right.
When I apply and I do job postings, I do really want to diverse our company. I want to bring them in. But they're not applying. They're nowhere to be found. Just putting yourself into that path and applying yourself is one giant step. Yes.
Well said.
And I promise you, when I was first applying, I'll never forget to this day, I applied to 724 jobs. I think I got 715 no's, right? It's going to happen. No's happen all the time. I think what happens is they're initially scared to take that first step of just putting yourself there. And I do really want to agree with you that it's really difficult to find Muslim women talent in general.
Yeah.
Because I just think that of the fear of men, and men need to do a better job of welcoming the women as well.
100%.
Yeah.
We need to be allies. We need to be advocates. We need to be champions to say, you know what? I stand by this, my colleague who, yes, to illustrate the point, is a female engineer, is a female developer. As an ally, I stand by her. So, one, we need to do a better job to dismantle the current tech bro culture and all its toxic masculinity. Two, we need more Muslims on the scene. And I was not joking when I hailed this man as the next Sam Altman, because we need that. We don't need the typical, blah, blah, blah. It's obvious. Fill in the blanks. Look around you. When we have a hard enough time talking up diversity, and yes, if this is streaming and if YouTube or the powers that be, especially with the current administration, had its way, I would be completely censured right now because I cannot, according to the current administration, use words like diversity. But hella yeah, I am going to today to illustrate the point. So we have to do better as an ummah. We can't rest on our laurels. We cannot be like, oh, the golden age of the ummah, it's done. It's for the history books. One and done. No one is a one-trick pony. We need to do better. We need to do better, which is why we go out of our way to showcase these various topics. All right, I'll get off my soapbox now. Next question, please.
Speaking of Muslim women and AI, for me, the most powerful figure in AI is a Muslim woman. Actually, I don't know if she's actually in AI, but Mustafa, you are killing our people with Microsoft AI. She stood up. She said that in front of the CEO.
That sister, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm just curious as folks in AI, it's how did you feel seeing that moment? Because it was a powerful moment, and it woke a lot of people up to the dangers of AI. Also, if it's not used for good, and how they're using AI to cause this mass destruction. So, just curious.
Oh, that's a great point. When she stood up in that panel and spoke in front of the Microsoft CEO and that whole panel speak up for Palestine and everything that's happening, that was just great. As an employee, when you have a really cozy 6-figure salary, stock options, you have all the money in the world to keep you quiet and have the really good early retirement, guys. Should be retired at 45 at Microsoft, 50. Your stock options pay you endlessly. To sacrifice all that for the true Nia, you can tell that took her places, and Allah put her out there. I'm not even saying about fame or nothing. It spoke volume for all tech workers at Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Netflix. And speaking on that woman part, Muslim Tech Fest from California, another great sister I talked to her on LinkedIn. She's doing great work, right?
Excellent.
And for the flip side for women, if your goal is, subhanAllah, mashallah to my sister, She has 4 kids. She chose the path of motherhood, which is awesome. There's a lot of confusion nowadays where career is the only way. Um, money, hustle, money culture, make as much as you can. Uh, that's there. But if women want the side of, a natural path and just having more healthy households, I love how Happy Strong Family put that out there. That's so many great women.
Definitely.
Most of the
100%.
podcast with all the sisters here.
Mm.
I really appreciate that, by the way, and bringing that platform to, Munzil, and of course not 247 Labs. That platform for media, we need more media companies like Happy Strong Family too.
Yes, of course.
We need that outlet.
I think this also kind of reminds me of a piece of advice. My father's a big part of me, so he always gives me these types of advice. He says, "Don't be afraid when the whole world is doing something wrong to do something right. When the entire world,
Well
when
said.
all your
Well said.
friends, when
Yeah.
everybody is going into one direction, don't be afraid to do what's right. It'll happen." Our vision and our ethical line at work is we don't do anything with alcohol, tobacco, gambling, or adult content, recreational drugs. So we don't touch any of these things. In the beginning, it was very difficult as somebody that just came in the field that sees Lotto 49 come in with like a $300,000 software project that is in my hands, that it was up to me to take it or not, and to reject it. There's a lot of power that comes from that. Of course, there's scrutiny. There is people that talk about you. But for me, at the end of the day, my dad always used to say, if you sleep and your head is on the pillow and you did the right thing, you could sleep easy. You don't want to regret what you did during that day. So I applaud that woman, honestly. And it takes, and I think that it should be kind of personalized to a lot of the youth, that if everybody is going into a direction and it's wrong and all your friends are doing it, do not be afraid to take the other direction. I did that my entire life. When people were partying on weekends, I was in the library, and to really find happiness into it, right? Not just kind of be there and be depressed and sad. Just remind yourself, like, this is the path that I'm supposed to be on. This is what God intended it for me. And just to kind of like be happy with yourself. And Nia, you do things to make yourself feel good, not others,
Beautifully said.
So-
Beautifully said. Producer Kashif, another question, please.
So this is a good tie into a question that an audience member was asking. How can Muslim youth, entrepreneurs, companies stay grounded in deen and humanity as they get more success? Unfortunately, we are all human, and with success comes a lot of temptation and greed.
Yes.
Great question.
So
Please, both of you.
So for me, I think I spoke about this a little bit earlier, where I felt a little bit of the ego come in. The salary goes up, more people notice you, people stop you on the streets. When I was a part of iHeartMedia, it was around 118 radio stations across North America. That was huge for my presence online. A lot of people recognize me, so it's a little bit difficult to kind of not have ego. What I would say is just to take time for yourself a little bit, and pray and listen to more Quran, and kind of surround yourself around the right people that will remind you that you're just a little grain of sand compared to the world, right? When you kind of when I used to asjud, when I used to be doing sujud, I would stay there for a little bit longer, because we are a slave to Allah, and it made me feel good a little bit to kneel to something that's higher power, So just humbling yourself in that situation where it's you're very small. Yes, you achieved great big things and everything's going for you, but to kind of remind yourself that you're just a little piece of an entire galaxy. I swear to you, this is not just to be cringy. At night, I would go, that day that I felt egotistical, I would go out at night and I would just look at the stars and I would be like, subhanallah, we are so small, right? So,
Well said.
and judgment day, right? At the end of the day, we're all going to be judged. You don't get judged on the money you make. You get judged on what you do, your prayer, if you're fasting,
How you
if you're
spend
doing
that money.
if the 5 pillars of Islam, making sure your money's halal.
Well said.
Yeah, and it feels a lot better when you achieve success and you do it in the right way and the way that you want to do it, your own story, right? So I would say that is how I would stay grounded in my deen and my humanity as well. It's just to kind of ground myself and remember that there is somebody higher up there, and that we are just slaves. to
Excellent
Almighty.
advice. Excellent
Yeah.
advice, man. Hamza.
Yeah, piggyback off that, Allah put us all here for a reason. I could have been someone who stayed back home in Pakistan, been in one of the worst areas. My parents would have not had the privilege to come here. Think about it. We're against six, not against, it's not a competition, but we could have been somewhere we had zero opportunity. I would have not been around great people like you, Haider, the CEO of 247 Labs, the great team, all these tools around me. That I choose to be born in state, that I choose to be born in Canada. Life was, alhamdulillah, already gifted to me in so many ways. And if you want to, I don't want to be very judgmental. If you want to waste that away and say you're in the top tier North America money making hub of the world, every dollar is printed from the United States, just 2 hour drive south. I'm not saying money's everything, but that's a tool to help bring real change to the ummah. Maybe not, of course, it's from Allah. I got very fortunate. I'm very privileged. When you realize how privileged you are to be here, to be around the great people, the great team who genuinely like you, give you the opportunities. Haider and the company did not give me the opportunity to be how I did, walk into myself, all from Allah. I did not choose a lot of things. Sure, I put a lot of effort. I can tell you how many months I worked with for free, how many things I did behind the scenes. Sure, I can talk about that. That's the Baytul Asbab. I did the worldly means to get that. But if you realize how grateful and privileged you are in this world, Allah will bless you more. And I'm a true holder for them. And Sadaqah is one of the greatest sunnahs I heard. And it takes you wonders. In my life, I've seen that. Realistically, I've seen that so many times.
I'll add quickly another dimension. And the dimension is go to Umrah as many times as possible. And I say this from personal experience, and I say this for a simple reason. When you are surrounding the Kaaba, when you are about to put your head down on the marble and pray, you are in line with people from other backgrounds, other nationalities, other countries. You're all walks of life, all shades and colors, and it's beautiful.
Mhm.
So for you to be there with rich and poor and middle class and brilliant and average, but you're there united in a common goal to praise
Mhm.
your creator, there is nothing more humbling. There is nothing more humbling.
I just came back from Umrah 3 months ago. I could
Alhamdulillah.
fully attest to this.
Mm.
You feel different. You feel more at peace. There's a level of calmness your soul sees when you see around. I couldn't stop crying when I was there. Honestly, I'm not really the type to cry, to be honest. But when I saw that, I just got flooded with emotions and joy. You kind of see how Islam was started off with just 4-7 people in the beginning, and now it's over 2 billion. And I also kind of realized that it was the most expensive building ever built. So to reach brick by brick that type of level of even the architecture there is beautiful, right? But for me, it was more like the feeling, the emotions you get, the
Mhm.
humbleness, to realize that you're honestly nothing in this world, really. It's all about the dunya, the deen, your deen,
Dean, absolutely.
yeah.
100%. Producer Kasha, let's try to cram in a few more questions because we're
Sure.
reaching the top of the hour.
So we have some comments. Great topic. Love the transition and merge in both engineering and sales. Mashallah, great podcast. Need more. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you all immensely.
Thank you, guys.
Mashallah, tying Quran back to what we strive for in life, and beautiful impact will happen. And yeah, great. What great lessons for the youth, subhanallah. Let's see, there was a question here that's saying, how does average person learn about AI and how to use to benefit? So much content, scam, info, promos out there. So how do you find proper sources to learn?
I'm gonna plug in 247 Labs a little bit here, because 247 Labs, we
Go
do
ahead.
have a weekly newsletter
Mhm.
that's gonna be coming out along with an AI guide that is on our website. Honestly, I do this just from pure love and education to the youth and everybody that's around us that wants to learn. I think that we're much better together than we are apart. So I don't ever want to gatekeep the knowledge I have. So I openly share it in in our newsletters, and a lot of the times I do podcasts where or even webinars where I educate people on how to use specific tools. But other than 2% Labs, I would say is to find something that you love, a topic that you love, an industry that you're into, and just dive deep into it. Just start searching. What is this industry about? What are the top companies in this industry? What do these guys do? What is their pain points? And it's kind of like unraveling an onion. As soon as you're deep into a subject, when you're in that path, you're gonna learn more than you'll ever just from like a course. But speaking about courses, there's also cognitive classes by IBM online. There's Coursera. They do a lot of like Harvard, Stanford level educations. I have my certificate in structural analysis by Stanford. I couldn't believe it was free, honestly. So there's a lot of things online that you would look for. The scams, I would just say to do due diligence and don't just perceive everything in face value, is to dig a little bit deep. And when you dig just a little bit deep enough, you're going to realize that things are scams and the info is being misinterpreted. But just to kind of get back to the point where what I would say and how to even here practical tips on someone that doesn't know how to get started is I would say just find an industry or topic that you love. Go into that topic, go into that industry, and start unraveling the onion. Start from how much revenue they make, what type of processes, procedures they're doing. In these processes and procedures, you can even ask ChatGPT what are some pain points or things that could go wrong in these processes and procedures, and then you could find a way to plug it in with a solution. Because in every company, you're not going to believe it. Like there is one of the biggest retail giants in Canada. They reached out to us. They have 1,333 stores in Canada. Their revenue is around 800 million, and they're only Canadian based. It's a very large retailer. I'm going to just say their initials, but I'm not going to say their name.
No,
It's
don't
BV.
even do that.
It's just BV.
Don't even
right?
do that. But all right, fair enough.
But you're going to realize that even those bigger guys, they lack in technology and technical adaptation, and they're about 15 years behind. So our youth could literally go on LinkedIn, build something from N8N, Lovable, these things that are like sandboxes. Go on LinkedIn, find their executive directors, their CMOs, the chief marketing officers, sending them cold emails and cold call. I got Interact on the phone, Interact Canada, just from a cold DM. I've gotten Walmart Global from a cold DM. It's just about putting yourself there. Those people aren't going to message you. You have to go out of your way and be educated, have knowledge on their processes and what they do, and then approach them with a solution. To get started, you just have to start from simple. There's the things that I teach Hamza, Laith, and Wassam, and everybody that's involved. And there was a lot of questions about it as well. Is where it's like there's so much coming out right now. It's always something new. To be updated like that, you're gonna be crazy. You start. We have this thing at work. This proven methods of success. It's called the Lean methodology theorem, and it's an entire book by Eric Ries, where you start small. Your first question should be when you learn AI is like, what is AI? How does it work? What are some use cases for it? What is the history of it? When you learn, you're going to start unraveling things as you're going. You're going to be like, why is data such a big problem? Where does data get stored? What is a cloud, right? And then you kind of just start learning things as you're going in this rabbit hole. So to get started is just to start with simple questions. Start off small. You're not behind. Actually, we are very early to this age. I promise you, not everybody even knows what ChatGPT is. They don't even know. They just know the AI as the word. They don't know it's just a computational process. They don't know AI has been around since 15 years ago. But when even longer, it's just when you start understanding the simple questions, things just open up so much easier. So to be lean when you're learning, and that's how you get started.
Awesome.
Just
perhaps one more question or comment.
Yeah, we had a comment come here. I always tell the youth, most important thing is having good group of friends. So good to see you and your best friend making impact together.
Thank you.
Sorry, on Instagram stream, I'm trying to find it. There was a question. So it had, okay, I'll paraphrase it. I'm not going to look for it now.
Sure.
But it had to do with we have a lot of educators on the show also, and when you talk about youth getting into entrepreneurship, wanting to pursue their own thing, sometimes there's a battle with parents, like, is university important? Then you hear names like Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Zuckerberg, that don't have university degrees, and they're among the most successful in the world. So just wanted to know from your perspective, for a youth that's having that battle with their parents, what would you tell them?
Good question, and perhaps a loaded question.
I'm going to be very quick with it. I have a very strong opinion on this. I think that what you learn in school isn't the content you're learning. It's kind of how your brain processes information
100%.
and how you're able to solve solutions. A lot of the times when I was learning linear algebra, I was like, why am I learning this? When am I ever going to use a squared plus b squared equals c squared? When am I? But it's not about that. It's about learning how to take an equation and plugging it in. It's learning about having a problem and working backwards to solve it. It's about having multiple equations and adding all these pieces together to have one solid solution. So for me, for those people, is I would think that it more kind of teaches your brain on how to do these practices and how to kind of like theoretically and also like make these decisions properly, right? I would say without university, I wouldn't be able to think like this.
All right.
100%.
All right. Yeah. Thumbs up.
Yeah, piggyback off of that. Those people were, I'll be honest, they were kind of privileged too. They had a very strong circle around them, and they were ahead of the curve, picking up the biggest things. So they came back and did finish most of the time. Same here, university. I got set up with the great people. Who would have thought I've been working with Haider 5 years down the line? It's the connections I built, and you need that way of thinking. And on top of that, I had a lot of struggle with this. Have your source of income, have your 9 to 5, and on the side, pursue your actions. Don't go all in. There's a statistic that out there, like 97% of all startups fail if you go all in. And the ones that did succeed were the ones that had a full-time income, and they started off as a part-time gig on the side after your 5 to 9. It's a lot of sacrifice. It's very hard to balance with your family life and the startup and your full-time job and the stress from there, but it's possible. And whatever trend you choose, whatever you do, the earlier you start, the better. You don't realize if you're 30 and you failed every startup, you can go back to a 95, and the connections you made, you're kind of set for, inshallah, if you want the rest of your life. So start early. Listen to your parents. Your parents' dua will always take you farther, no matter what you think. We're in a Bayt al-Asbab, the worldly means, but you never know what happens behind the scenes to get you that.
Yeah. And just real quick, look, at the end of the day, your parents are your parents. Respect them, love them. They're your parents after all. That said,
sorry, one more thing.
Yeah.
Can I ask? So you started off the conversation that people don't give back. Like you're finding there's successful Muslims out there that haven't maybe given back to the community. Like Mushtaq Bhai and I can test, like we have a very, like this is episode 122 or 121.
Yeah.
We've never paid anyone ever as a guest. They've just come on because they're super generous.
Or ourselves for that matter.
Ourselves,
the time. Man. Like I like how, and I really appreciate it, like how involved you're with the community and setting up this media. Like I know it was about this topic, but on this trust, like genuinely, like on air, like I'm genuinely not doing this. I would not be able to connect if I didn't meet you guys more than 2 years ago. My brother Haider Sarmad, and so encouraging. Like even if I was late, you realize how youth, their shortcoming of other things you're lacking on, but still giving this media. May Allah bless you in this world and akhirah. I mean, behind the scene, brother Kashif, man, subhanallah. Like I know you over text so much. I know Haider over text so much. But I really appreciate you guys. This speaks volume. Like we're gonna be, clipping this into 30-second clips, putting it everywhere.
Inshallah, I always tell people that come on, like this is for the community, right? Yeah. It doesn't matter if we mess up, if it's not the best show. Our whole thing is preparing you guys for bigger, better platforms, inshallah, and sharing in the reward of that as it happens,
absolutely.
right?
100%. 100%.
So the question I want to get back to is like, we got generous people out there. We know this. We're sitting in a building that's funded by generous donors. So what message do you have for other Muslims that are entrepreneurs, that have companies, that are being successful? Like, yes, we know there's a problem that Muslims probably aren't known for working well together and sharing resources with each other. Like, how would you suggest that changes? Like, what would you like to see?
Look, I would say that a lot of it is because people think that we have to give back something like a monetary value, like money or gifts or something. But for me, knowledge is just as important, right? So if if somebody was to get on if they had a platform and they were go on and just kind of teach their techniques and what they learn, their experiences, their mistakes. I would say just learning from knowledge is also like like a very huge factor to I believe the youth being successful. So if I did have to give those people advice, I would say create webinars, become more vocal with the community, teach through education, mentorship. A lot of I have a very strong circle of mentors. All of them could have refused to teach me, right? But because of them, because of that, what is experience? Experience is when you go down the line and you know you're about to either fail or be successful. And those mentors, they just be like, hey, don't do that. This will end up in failure. This will be a success. Just that piece of knowledge, just that piece of experience goes a very, very long way in anybody's career. So I would say to those founders and those people that have these companies is just to become more vocal. I would say Eventbrite is free. You could create a webinar on Eventbrite just to teach people. That's what I do often. And you do it out of the love for the game. And when you love something, it always gets rewarded. SubhanAllah, like from the podcast, I do get a lot of conversions. So yeah.
All right, Hamza, go ahead.
So I think he covered it well. That's honestly, that's a great point from what Haider said.
All right, so and this Prakash, if you're okay with it, he always gives me the thumbs up, so I'll use this as a segue to also draw the end conclusion to the show. But I do want to say that if we look at Iblis, Shaitan, Satan, the devil, he was a jinn, but because he was so righteous to a degree, and before his fall, because of his arrogance, there wasn't a place on this earth that he did not pray. He did not supplicate to his creator. But it was his ego, his what? His ego that got in the way and said, oh, you know what? That Adam, he's made of ash, he's made of dust, he's made of clay. I, meaning Shaitan, the Satan, the devil, said, I'm made of fire, I'm made of smokeless fire. I am then hence a far better creation. It's this arrogance, this ego that got in the way. So that, my friend, for anyone who's watching, think about it. The ego always gets in the way. The ego is not good for anyone. It is a great source of evil. It's a great source of corruption for a creature. And this is what our Deen so beautifully illustrates. For a creature who literally went out of its way to pray and praise its creator, and not a single square inch of this earth was not left in supplication by this creation. But what happened? His ego led him to his downfall. And we curse Satan, the devil, Shaitan, in every prayer we make because of his arrogance. He went against his creator. So as human beings, do not let your ego get in the way. Do not let your ego get in the way. We as a ummah could be so much stronger. We could be so much more effective if we simply took away that little voice in our head that said, man, why should I collaborate with this other Muslim company? Why should I collaborate with this other Muslim founder? I'm good as is. I'm good doing my own thing. I don't need this other person being a voice in my head. I don't need this person to look over my shoulder. I don't even need to know who they are. Why should I even collaborate with them? Get that ego out the door, and then you will see a sea tide change in the ummah and the world over. When the ship rises with the tide, we all rise together. So enough about that. I'm going to do something different because we got a whole bunch of people in the studio. We even have Hafiz Arad, who has come in to actually speak with Brother Haider here. So what I want to do is, I'm putting you all guys all on the spot. I haven't done this yet, but I guess since it's episode 121, we're going to do things different for once, because, we want to keep people vested in the show. We want to keep the interest level up. So developer, marketing guy, Hafiz Arad, Brother Kaser, who is actually the founder, producer Kashif, I ask you every time, you still haven't taken me up on my unless you can actually, reach over to the control board and somehow end the show all at the same time. But you probably have 5 seconds to get, and then just click the master button. I'm going to ask everyone, get behind me, because there's one camera. This is how, the world of our broadcasting works. Come on, get behind me, get behind me.
I think Hafiz is a university student in software engineering, or is it software? Yeah. Computer
He's in
engineering.
computer science. So there you go.
What-
You already have the next generation wanting to meet with you. Okay.
Beautiful.
So, we're all looking at the central camera over there. So that's the central camera. Brother
You gotta
Kaser.
get back there.
We all gotta get into the frame. Come on. This is how like live broadcasting works. Lower your head, marketing guy. Okay. No, out of the microphone's way. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So this is us. Okay. Inshallah, we want to do the next show. Okay. With a entire female Muslima IT crew. Okay. We encourage you to reach out. Oh, he's already switched cameras. Okay, no, switching back. Okay, well, I don't know. Put me on one camera. Okay, so we encourage you guys to reach out to producer Kashif. Okay, we are all allies. Okay, we encourage the next set of Muslima founders in the IT space, in the AI space. We want the next Mira Muradi, one-time CTO of ChatGTP. She's now doing her own thing. Look her up. But we want the next Mira Muradi to be Khadija, okay, Aliza, take your name, Fatima, Aisha. We want them to be here on the next show. Do we all agree?
Please.
100%. Okay, so not just me, but you have all of these allies and advocates. You have them all here. This is Brother Mushtaq signing off with this whole crew talking up, entrepreneurship, AI. Tune in often, Sundays, 11 a.m. Producer Kashif, now hit the cue button.
Thank you.